We've got some time for some questions. First of all, from the media, then from some members. Laura Koonsberg from BBC.
Thank you very much. Mr. Corbyn, let's go for the Ministry of Truth, as we are here in the Senate House. You've voted against the EU many times. Before today, you've branded some of its policies crazy and immoral. Would you now actually describe yourself as a pro-European? And also, you've barely mentioned one of the things that really matters to many of our viewers about the EU, which is the number of people coming from other countries in the EU to this country. Do you think too many people from other parts of the EU have come to live and work in the UK?
No, I don't think too many have come. I think that the issue has to be of wages and regulations, which I included in my speech, and it's employers that try to undercut industry-wide agreements in the construction industry and others that are the problem. Hence the agency workers issue that I raised in my speech, as well as minimum wages that I raised in my speech. There has to be a case for a minimum wage tied to the cost of living all across the continent. There is nothing wrong with people migrating to work around the continent, but there has to be a level playing field on pay and conditions. What we have is unscrupulous employers doing that. Yes, I've been critical of many things within the European Union. I think you would have probably gathered from my speech I have many criticism of the European Union. This is a decision about whether we stay in and argue for the kind of socially just Europe that I want, that our party wants, that the vast majority of trade unions and ordinary people in this country want, or we walk away from it. That's the decision that's been made. Does it mean I recant on everything I've ever said or done? Absolutely not. I'm sorry about that.
Thanks, Jeremy. Sophie Ridge from Sky.
Thank you. Sophie Ridge, Sky News. As we're in the Ministry of Truth, what has caused you...
Catch on.
You should never have said it. What has caused this conversion to the EU cause? You voted against membership of the EEC in 1975. Last year you said you couldn't rule out campaigning to leave the EU. Are you still a Eurosceptic? And if not, what's changed?
Well, I did vote that way in 1975, kind of you to remind me. I remember it very well. I remember the debate and the campaign about it. We've had a very big debate within the Labour Party and within the trade unions. Overwhelmingly, the Labour Party and trade unions have come to the view that they want to campaign for a social, just Europe, to protect the workers' rights that we've got, to extend them and extend that degree of justice. That is the position we've reached. That's the position that has been adopted by the party. That's the party that I lead, and that's the position I'm putting forward.
It's also fair to remind you that John Prescott, Lord Hoyle, Hilary Benn all voted against in '75 and have changed their mind in this referendum. Romilly Weeks from ITV.
Mr Corbyn, your first speech on the EU comes pretty late in the day, and you've spent as much time here setting out the need for Europe to reform as setting out the case for staying in. How do you hope to convince people with such a half-hearted approach?
I was elected leader of the party last September, which is 7 months ago. I have spoken at probably 150 public meetings during that time in different parts of the country. There's nothing half-hearted about what we're doing. There's nothing half-hearted about our campaigning. There's nothing half-hearted about our alliances. I've attended a number of meetings of the Party European Socialists. I've had lengthy conversations with prime ministers and party leaders all across Europe on the social justice case, the environmental case, the issues of climate change, trade and steel, and all those issues. I've made numerous speeches on all these subjects. There's nothing half-hearted about what we're doing. We're putting forward a political agenda about social justice in this country, driving down tax evasion in this country, but we're also putting the international case on human rights and justice and social justice all across Europe. That's what we're doing, and you'll hear plenty from us on this. There's nothing half-hearted about anything I do.